Hi everybody, welcome to the Stepping Forward with Kate show. I'm Kate Hellmers. It's been really hot in Los Angeles this week with temperatures over 100. Even with summer in full bloom, I've received a lot of requests for information about my do-it-yourself kids camp. So here it is. As you know, summer can be a time of pure bliss and joy for a kid, or it can be a time of utter boredom. It's very easy when you're a working mom or dad to get caught up in the stress of balancing a full work week and kids on break. When my daughter was little, like many of you, my typical work days were at least 10 to 14 hours long. I'm on the West Coast and some of my clients were on the East Coast. So the first conference call of the day usually started around 5:30 a.m. At the end of a particularly long day, as my husband walked in the door, I realized what time it was, and I was still on conference calls, and I was sliding a hot dog across the table on a paper plate for my kid. It was a moment that absolutely clicked for me. My poor daughter had been cooped up in the house all day, and for a few days in a row before that. Summer was rushing by, and we didn't have any special memories to show for it. I thought to myself, done. This is going to change right then. I asked myself, how do I balance work and summer and create incredible fun and memorable experiences? I started writing down all kinds of ideas, and that's when I came up with Hellmers Camp, which is our last name, for my daughter and a couple of her friends. 2 days a week, her friends could come over and we'd have our own summer camp filled with tons of fun activities. It took some planning, but once it was put together, it was so much fun, and much more fun than regular work, of course. I worked out some of the costs, and although most of the activities were free, I asked the parents of my daughter's closest friends if they'd be interested in their kids participating. Everyone paid the cost for their own child, and the parents could join in on the activities at any time they wanted. I worked it out with clients and work. And so on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., camp was in session. Parents could drop their kids off at the house on the way to work. Girls would have breakfast and hang out, and I did some work. Then at 9 a.m. sharp, camp would start. No exceptions. By 3 p.m., camp ended and the kids could relax and hang out until their parents could pick them up. And I could finish up my workday. Hellmers Camp became a time of pure summer magic. Here are some of the things we did that can inspire you to create your own kids' summer camp. And if you sign up for free at VIP members at your10keys.com, you can get the camp schedule and an activity plan. There were a few essential parts of setting up Hellmers Camp. First, parental notifications of things that we were going to do and they're okay. And of course, medical releases. The next thing was establishing boundaries. I'm all about having an incredible time, but without the tantrums and the drama and all of that. If I was going to be doing this, I had to stay sane. And in that way, we set up Hellmers Camp ground rules. And it was important that all the parents agree to them beforehand. These rules helped everyone have a good time. For instance, one of my rules was that there was no whining in Hellmers Camp, period. I can't stand whining. The kids were informed of that, and some of them really agreed. So we set up an area in the backyard on the grass that they could go whine or yell or whatever they wanted to do right in that area, anytime they wanted to do it. But while inside and while we were on field trips, no whining. Absolutely not. The parents all agreed, and we also agreed that the kids would probably push the limits of the rules. And we needed to figure it all out right from the start. So, after the first day of camp, it did happen. A mom came to pick up her daughter, and her daughter instantly started to whine and complain, looking at me like, I got you now, and you can't do anything about it because my mom's here. I didn't react to her look, and with the mom and daughter standing there, I said, as you know, here at Hellmers Camp, everyone has to follow the rules. And there's no whining, but she can go outside to the grass if she wants to keep whining. And the mom already knew this. The mom looked at her daughter and said, you better go outside. And the girl was stunned. Her mom hardly ever said no to her, so she thought that with her mom there, she could get away with it. She quickly found out that in Hellmers Camp, or your DYI camp, rules are rules. and everybody has to abide by them. Oh, it makes it so much more fun and so much easier. It's important to set up realistic boundaries up front so that every kid feels included but has a blast. And the other key is to do fun things that the kids have never heard of before. Use your imagination. Make everything fun and exciting. And that way there's an incentive for them to follow the rules. One special thing I do every once in a while is I give them a couple M&Ms for breakfast. Have an M&M breakfast. Their first day, their jaws dropped. They had never heard of an M&M breakfast. Of course, they had to eat all their healthy breakfast food first, and the truth was they only got a couple M&Ms. But to them, it was the greatest thing that they had ever heard of. It was so funny. So, balance out the structure of your camp with all of the creative fun to keep everyone enjoying the experience. One way to avoid fights and keep things positive was to give each child their own special box of camp supplies that they'd keep at our house. I went to the 99-cent store and got supplies for less than $20 each and gel paint in a few different colors. On the kids' first day, they each got to pick a color gel paint, and it became their color for the summer. They'd use the paint to decorate the outside of their own box that held everything, and I also had them put little dots with the paint on their supplies, their scissors and their notebooks. In that way, there wasn't any fight about who's using whose scissors. Everything was color coordinated. We also rotated who was able to go first for everything we did all summer so that everyone had a turn. For the schedule, I divided the day into two. The mornings were always classes, we called them, and the afternoons were out-of-the-house activities. At 9 a.m., I would ring a bell or crank up the music, which meant camp starting. Get your boxes, take your seat. Then I would lead the girls through a bunch of different activities, each about 20 minutes long so that nobody got bored and there was always a new activity right around the corner. The first subject was always English. So you can imagine on the first day they were horrified. Then I surprised them with little identical dollar store Disney princess notebooks that had locks on them for complete privacy. Even when they were 6 years old, I thought that was magic. I had to get them ideas to get them started, but they could write stories or what they'd done yesterday, what they watched on TV. Just write. That was Tuesdays. On Thursday mornings, on regular paper, an English class would be comprised of writing goals, starting to learn how to put goals down, or writing letters to their grandparents or their cousins. Or everyone would work on the summer project, which was a little 10-minute play or songs that they could all sing together or a script for a little movie that we'd put together to show their parents at the end of summer. Once the idea was introduced, they became very serious about it. The second subject was math. It changed for Tuesdays and Thursdays. On Tuesdays, we would use M&Ms and Oreos to play blackjack. They learned how to count up to 21 so quickly. Let me tell you, when there's candy on the line, nobody wants to lose. I had a whole bunch of so-called different subjects for the morning. Gardening, cooking, geography. Geography, for instance, was scrolling through pre-chosen pictures of cities around the world that they would pick what they thought was the coolest place. Then they started telling their parents about the cities like they'd been there. It was funny. Afternoons were a whole different energy. We'd have a fun lunch at home or we'd go out for a picnic. Everybody'd make their own sandwich and we'd either have a picnic in the den or go to the park. After that, we could visit anywhere that was free or entertaining, but the rule was no amusement parks. And of course, no cell phones once they got older. I was astounded at the types of things that were out there to do. One afternoon, there was a place we could go look at fossils. It was a rock shop. And because there was a dinosaur fossil, I called it dinosaur hunting. Who could find the dinosaur rock first? And who could find the ones with snails in them or seashells? And who could find the ickiest thing or the prettiest thing? That silly rock shop became a favorite, even into their teens. They even named the dinosaur rock. It was Sammy or something. Whatever activities you create for your kids, don't forget it's how you sell it to them and do it with excitement. You have to make it fun. As the kids got older, the activities evolved. Activities would include tennis lessons, dance classes, or sports. They'd get semi-private lessons by either a pro or, oh my gosh, that's right, college students. The next best thing. They're so cost effective. I'd hire a college student for $15 an hour and the parents would all split it. Oh my gosh, talk about cost effective. Again, get the list on the VIP site along with how they can make their own art portfolio. Now, at the end of summer was the big parent bash. The kids would plan dinner. You know, as they got older, it got more complicated, but the first year I think it was pizza. And then the grand surprise for the parents at the end is the play or group song or short movie that they did throughout the summer. These were hysterical. But we had to be very serious about it because the kids took it very seriously. And every summer, they want to do it all over again now, even though they're in their 20s. They want it with margaritas this time. I copied my schedule and general activity plan so that you can get a free copy at the membership site at your10keys.com. Create your own summer camp for your kids, even if it's only for a day. When you go to your 10 Keys member site, it's in the extras and free specials. There's a whole lot on the site that you'll enjoy, but this is something special. Even if you only do it one day, ever, it's something that you and your children will always remember. Get it now and enjoy. Thanks for joining us and have a great rest of the summer.